Hey y'all! Welcome finally to another M3DM live stream. Thanks for bearing with me with that super secret 2-minute live stream. YouTube, I was like, oh, I'll try out like the low latency mode. Very cool, right? Well, it like locks you in. So when it started to stream, but it's at 4K, it lost its mind. So I was like, okay, calm down. I'll just change it back to normal latency. No, I'm like, okay, I'll just change our resolution back. No, I'm like, oh my god, YouTube, you can't suggest these settings to me and then freak out when I do it. Anyway, we're back. There'll still be like a 20-second delay between questions. Really not a big deal, but there still is an upgrade, as you can tell. We are a little fancier here. The lighting is a bit more even. My cave is officially caving, and then we have some fun like little LED candles going on too. Only half of them are lit because we only had that many batteries. We're gonna buy some more batteries after the stream. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. It's Aloha, Hindsight, boop, and Mini Blaze. Hindsight always gets confetti. All the hullabaloo. Yeah, I did get slapped around by YouTube. I was like, don't advertise cool features for me and then take them away. Anyway, the poll was going and Thor was winning by a lot. So we are going to let Thor win. It was not the halfling monk. Sorry, Mini Blaze. Maybe next time. It'll happen eventually for sure. All right. I also have a new monitor in front of me that you guys, I can spin this around. Ooh, that's a whole room. There's a big screen right there. So I can now watch myself twice. Crazy. Nah, so when people subscribe, I should be able to actually see it pop up and then acknowledge them and be able to pay attention more. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you guys for being here and for pivoting, because I know it's silly at times. Well, let's go ahead and get rolling, shall we? Excellent. Gonna make myself small. And we'll just get moving right along. This is cool because now I can have an entire screen just for my references. I'm excited. Alright, so we're working on Thor today, and Thor, he's not going to be the Hemsworth. Is that Liam or Chris? I don't know. It's not the actor, it's just going to be like classic Norse mythology goodness. I'm not super well versed in Norse mythology. I know a lot more about like Greek. So if you guys have any like historical tidbits you want to share with me, please do. He's going to have his hammer, of course. Other than that, he's going to be pretty much just a really buff Viking. So let's get started. There we go. First thing we're going to do is open up my lovely asset library. I have no clothes. Where did all your clothes go? There we go. I was like, we don't need the female mesh anyway, though. There we go. Perfect. And this is a pretty good starting point. It's not as bulky. He's gonna end up being even bulkier. But I'm gonna give him like some like fun Viking hairstyle, like a mohawk and braid kind of thing going on. I'm excited. And Hindsight mentions the important bits of Thor are his hammer and his belt. His belt. Okay, I didn't know that. The hammer I knew and I have. Tell me more about this belt. And feel free to put images in the Discord so I can get that correct. And then right from the get-go, let's go ahead and load in the hammer. Funny enough, I already do have this hammer modeled because someone requested a Thor as a cat, pretty much. So I have Thor, but in cat form, goofy enough. Does he have any secondary weapons? Or is it just the hammer, which is starts with an M? I can write it down, I just don't know how to say it out loud. That goes for a lot of things. I read a lot, so I can pronounce things in my head. There we go. Yeah, it's about the right size for the hammer, more or less. Very good. It's so wild having my own stream up in front of me. It's like, I get to see myself sculpt the model in front of me. Yeah, I thought this was happening. Yeah, my ZBrush UI is like really big and inflated, so half of my custom UI is hiding. I thought that was happening earlier, and I was like, that's odd. Forgot to double check because I was distracted by the nonsense that YouTube was doing. I'm gonna save this ZPR and then try to mess around with this to get my configuration back. Just gonna close that and open it back up. Oh look, my Patreon. Yeah, I always have that this hiding back there. If anyone asks about it, I can just pull it up. And then Hindsight was very helpful and spelled it for me, Mjolnir. Thank you, that is helpful. Yeah, how funny is this? Half of my ZBrush screen is just kind of floating away from me. I'm actually not certain how to fix that right now, but that's fine. I know where all the buttons are because I put them there. Hey, Yoni's here. Hello, welcome, welcome. And then we are rooting for an 8-pack. Oh, you guys, you bet. All right, let's get this opened up and I'll deal with this screen nonsense on my break. Hindsight talking about the belt. His belt's basically a belt of giant strength. It doubles his strength, so he already is 24 strength. It takes it to 48. I did not know that. That sounds very tabletop-y too. I like it. But yeah, what have you guys been up to? You know, so today it's Thursday, almost the weekend. Not for me though. I usually take Monday and Tuesday off. I'm always moving my days off around. Keeps things fresh. Hindsight in D&D terms, yeah. Oh, Monkey's here. Hello, hello. And Leon. Yeah, welcome back. Aloha says, Mia, can we look at Thor from God of War, Ragnarok? The version of Thor is most accurate to actual Thor and not MCU. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing MCU. And then is my screen off? It shouldn't be. Oh, when I move things around, sometimes it throws a little fit. So it was a really quick flash. Should be back though. Very good. And one of my references actually is from God of War, Ragnarok. So, on the same page as you, Aloha. All right. I almost don't even know where to start. I'm excited. Bolt's here. Hello, fellow humans. All right, let's go ahead and bulk up his musculature here. And I really like to do this with the clay brush. So we're gonna put a little stamp of our little dude down here before he's all godded out and cool looking. And then we'll start working on his body. You can kind of see like a semblance of this 8-pack that's gonna be coming in here, but we're gonna make it a lot more dramatic by coming in with this clay brush. It does a really, really nice job. Has some texture on already. There's no alpha, it's just the way that this brush behaves. I'm a big fan of the clay brush. It is important though that when you're adding volume like this, you're really careful of kind of like where you're laying all that material on and in what direction. You want to like roughly follow the muscle fiber strands. Here we go. All right, he's looking a little bulkier. Also, I can't remember who it was that asked whether it was Aloha or Mini Blaze, but yeah, these little muscles up show up right here, they are in fact not ribs, they are muscles. It's like anterior serratus or something. Remember that came up on a stream a while ago. Here we go. I get those blocked in there roughly. And then we're gonna pull out his deltoids and his lats even more. He is going to be a god. So really big shoulders, big proportions. Hey, Jolly Rose here. Hello, hello. And therefore also hello to Stephanie, or just Steph. And Taylor. My goodness, peasants are uniting. We got the whole tavern is full. Hindsight talking more about Thor. Apparently he also has iron gloves that are what actually allow him to wield the hammer. Never heard of them before, but I found them when I was looking at the belt. Okay, that is helpful though, thank you. And Aloha mentions, I have a new friend ZBrush called Mr. Z Modeler. Well good, that's a very powerful friend to have. There's a brush in ZBrush that's called Z Modeler, and it's absurd that it's called a brush because it's a whole like host of tools Let me show it to you guys really, really quick. So if I have a cube like this, if you grab the Z Modeler brush, look at all these menu options that pop up. Isn't that wild? This is a brush. I know. Alo is one of my mentorship students, and that is the assignment that I have her on currently. So whenever I'm making a really buff dude, ironically, I actually think about like an hourglass like proportion, which is funny, except I don't pull out his hips. I just give him this like, I think they call it like a Dorito shape, like an upside down triangle. It makes him look really powerful and really, really strong. All right, let's go ahead and get some work done on his face. He looks just kind of bored right now. We can do better than that. Monkey was helpful. Yeah, serratus interior is what the mouse is called. Thank you, thank you. All right, looks like you guys grabbed some belts that you like. Very good. Yoni says, time to open ZBrush, am I right? Yes, sculpt with us, have a good time. I already have a few people that when they join my streams, that's what they do on their side. And then Yoni, I'm not sure if you're in our Discord or not, but if you are, you can post what you're working on during the stream too. We have a little group that does that. Does anyone know what color Thor's eyes are? I know one of you guys has this critical information just in your head, I'm certain of it. Alright, again, I want him to look like an ancient god, not just like a Chad. So we're going to be playing with some of this. I'm a big fan of big noses, so we're going to be doing that. And then also making him look a little more tired. So I'm actually going to hollow out under his eyes just a touch. I'm going to go back with my clay brush really carefully because this is going to add a lot of volume very quickly. Here we are. Excellent. Aloha says, Mia, Thor is also half giant, so it's depicted a lot like 7 foot tall. Does that mean we can use like 9 head tall proportions? Absolutely. Absolutely. Google says that Thor has 1 blue eye and 1 brown eye. I like it. Very main character energy. All right, let's go ahead and color some eyes. I'm pretty sure I can color eyes with a mask turned on. Perfect, yes I can. All right, you said 1 blue, 1 brown? At this point, I don't even care if that's true, that just sounds fun. Thanks, Google. And Monkey. Whenever autosave is happening, you must hold completely still. If you think too hard, it will crash ZBrush. All right, there we go. Now you see different colored eyes. Very fun. Also can come with some poly paint here, and we're going to darken his eyes a bit here. We're gonna give him kind of like some guy liner, essentially. Just gonna add a bit more aging. Again, we don't want him to look jaundiced. We just want him to look tired. Also gonna build up his brow ridge here. So I'm gonna go with my standard brush. Kind of start pulling this out right here. I don't really use that many brushes, so if at any point you're curious to what brush I'm using, if I didn't say it out loud, you can probably look right over here below my face. And these brushes are pinned right here, pretty much the only ones I use. I have some more specialty ones over here, but most of that is for cloth simulation. I'm gonna enable lazy mouth by going to stroke, lazy mouse, and clicking on this. I like to have radius somewhere around 30. Why 30? That's just the one that best offsets my own handshake. Here we go. Natalie's here. Hello, hello, welcome. Not under your Arcanum. Same person though. Hindsight, talking to Loa. Very good. All right. All right, we have a good base here. He still doesn't look as Viking-y as I want him to look, but it's a really good start. I think it's just like this jawline's a little too square. Let's go ahead and bring that in a touch. Usually when I do deformations like this, I will reduce the resolution to prevent it from being like too lumpy, but I don't need to worry about that. Natalie says, oh, whoops, let me switch. Yeah, no problem. Doesn't bother me any. I kind of go back and forth between calling you Ella and Natalie anyway. All right, he's looking much more intentional, not just like a generic Chad face. He's looking a bit more tired. Oops, we don't want that. Excellent. The baldness is throwing me off, so we will work on that now. How about that? Though I do want to grab things from my asset library before I forget, because it makes the auto-saving really slow. So if I can adjust this now, that'd be good. Is there any pieces I want here? I don't really think so. You know, I think we're just gonna sculpt from scratch today, guys. But if you're new, feel free to look up at the screen right now, because it's kind of a cool thing. I have this asset library I've created over the years, so I can really quickly come through and grab pieces and kind of kit bash new characters. That being said, sometimes I'm just in the mood to make everything from scratch, and then I have new stuff for my asset library. I do hate shoes though, so I will give him these boots right now so I don't have to do it later. I've warmed up to shoes considerably, but still not my favorite. Ooh, I'm a big fan of capes too. I would love to give him this a big like fur cape. But I might just make that from scratch anyway. That one's a little bit too much like royalty, you know? It's not really the vibe we're going for here. Yeah, beard and mustache, absolutely. Colby's here. Hey, welcome. Make his shoulders massive, absolutely. And then I'll emphasize it even more with like this big like fur cape. Mini Blades, how do you save to create an asset library? Do you make it on one model and isolate it? Yeah, so essentially what I do is, let me show you. Great question, so let's just show you. Let's say I just made these boots, for example. They're a separate subtool, yeah? So all you have to do is have whatever piece you want to export out, go to Tool and Export. Now that's an OBJ, you can open your asset library and then Tool, Import. And there you go. And you just kind of keep moving them around just like that. Great question though. He's gonna have shoes on and not much else. Excellent. Yeah, I'm an open book, guys. If you have any questions about my modeling process or how I'm doing anything, please let me know. And I also love suggestions. A lot of my models come out as fantastic as they do because I live stream and you guys kind of tell me what you're thinking about. All right, we had a request to make these shoulders even larger, so let's go ahead and do that. You could just take your move brush and click and drag, but then you end up with results like this, right? So you gotta be a little more intentional than that. We're gonna grab this muscle group here, which is his deltoids, and then his lats. And then make sure to make those same adjustments from more than one angle because he is a 3D thing. Gonna make his neck a bit thicker as well. All right, I'm going to throw a poll in here for y'all because I'm kind of curious what you want me to see and work, what you want to see me work on first. Hindsight says, Nordic noses do not have the Mediterranean bump. If you want it for character, he was a brawler. Yeah, so that's why I have that bump right there. I am going to push it off to the side in a second here. But as of now, I'm just keeping symmetry. Very cool. Colby mentions, yeah, shoulders, forearms, necks, and traps. Yeah, you know, forearms, I actually have a really hard time with making these larger. That's something that's a muscle group I'm just still figuring out. Like I understand like your biceps and your deltoids and your triceps. That all kind of makes sense the way they link together like chains. But these forearms, man, forearm muscles are tricky for me. That looks pretty good. I think his neck is now looking a little short, so let's go ahead and bring that down. Make sure you vote in that poll to see what I'm going to work on. Do you have any thoughts about a classic Thor tramp stamp? We're going to think no, but I can probably paint that on there because this is designed for 3D printing, so no one would actually see it. His legs are also a bit small. He definitely looks like he skipped leg day right now. Can't have that. So kind of a fun thing you can look at with the body here. Your quads are going to have this nice curve, and the back is mostly straight. And then by contrast, your calves have this nice curve, and then your shins are straight. So you end up with this S curve. So you look at the screen right now, you can kind of see I'm tracing this S curve here. And that's something to kind of keep in mind when you're doing like figure drawing. It's just a really nice, easy curve to keep track of. It's a little more complicated than that. Obviously, like right here isn't perfectly flat. You can see we do have this muscle group here. But it's a good starting point. Look at his tiny little feet. I'm not going to fix his feet because we're just going to stuff him in boots anyway. But it does make me laugh to know that they're there. I'm going to shorten his boots a little bit. All right, looks like we are tied 50-50 right now. Half of you guys want to see me work on his hair, and half of you want me to do clothes. This is kind of what it's magic. I thought for a long time you guys were spiting me by tying up the poll, and I think hindsight brought to my attention that you guys cannot see the results of the poll, so it's hilarious that it's always half and half. All right, clothes are just barely in the lead. Whoever votes next, yeah, we're at 10. All right, clothes are still winning. It's very close. Hey, Klutz here. Hello, welcome, welcome. Yoni says, I want to see how you make clothes. That is barely in the lead at 55%. So I'm going to go ahead and end that, and then let's make some clothes. Yoni, have you been here before? I feel like I recognize your username, but I might be wrong. You might have just been a lurker. All right, we're going to make some clothes. We're going to start off with some pants, because these little white short shorts are killing me. All right. This is how you make clothes. We're going to take the body here. I'm lowering the subdivision level, which means I'm lowering the resolution. Next, I grab my masking brush, and I mask out the area of whatever clothing item we're making. It's going to be pants in this case, so I'm going to mask out some leggings. Next, you go over to extract, accept, and then I zero mesh it so that way it fits the body better and the topology is a bit nicer. I'm going to go ahead and inflate these so they match his body contour, and then take my move brush. And now we kind of have a really basic pair of pants here. Obviously it needs some adjustment. They're looking a bit more like leggings than they are pants. You want to make sure they're looser in the knees, especially for pants for a man. Make them a bit looser fitting in general. I find loosening them by the knees and then kind of lowering the crotch point too. Just that way they don't look so tight, you know? That's better. All right, there's a very simple pair of pants. I'm gonna have it in a bit lower slung here. And that's where I'm gonna put this really large belt. Obviously you don't wanna have pants that don't exist. There's nothing on the inside here. We're gonna go ahead and close holes. And now I can subdivide a few times. By adding these subdivision levels, I can now start adding detail. First thing we're gonna do is come through with my damn standard brush. Always lazy mouse. We're gonna kind of block in some seams here. So I'm gonna throw these down the side. I'm pretty exaggeratory with my lines here because everything I design is for 3D printing. So every model you see here is going to be 3D printed and then shared on my Patreon. And that's what I do. That's my whole business. I'm doing this for about 6 years now. And to add on to that, everything I model on here is also a request. So right here, this is from Larry Dillon. And he actually requested Odin as well. So we'll be working on that on a future stream. All right, the next part here is adding some fabric folds. I like using the standard brush. Also with lazy radius enabled. And then kind of just zoom out, look at these pants and kind of think about where there's gonna be compression or tension. So you're gonna have some bagginess around the knees, some tension on the sides here where the seams are being pulled, under his butt, and maybe above here on his hips. I'm not gonna do too much detail on his hips because we're gonna have a giant belt covering that anyway. But we know enough here, we can start building up some forms. Monkey says, fun fact, Thor is actually just a really, really big dwarf. Not true. Mini Blaze, do you add thickness for the material? I do. Every now and then it depends what the material is. In this case, I can just close holes and make it solid. Again, that's for 3D printing reasons. If it was like a little vest, for example, you can't use closed holes. You get really odd results. So in that case, I would just use dynamic thickness. Great questions. If you guys have questions, you want to make sure that I answer it and I see it, make sure you put like at M3DM. It causes my side to put my name in bright orange. That's really easy for me to see. Taylor's sad that the beard didn't win. I will be doing that right after the close, so don't you worry. Yoni says, yes, I have been here before. I asked you about how to get over burnout or something like that. That sounds about right. It's just been a while because I try to like keep a mental log of everyone's usernames or profile pictures, so if you had changed your profile picture since then, that's also probably why I had a hard time remembering. I'd like to say that I'm that person that's like, I'm really good with faces and names. The only reason I'm good at that at all is because prior to being an artist, most of my jobs required me to be good at that. In college, my job over the summer, I was pretty much like a concierge, so working with lots of people. This little funny butt crack. I don't want this to be there. Speaking of Yoni, are you struggling with burnout or are you doing pretty good? How's your art journey going? I think we're about due for an update. I want to really fuss over this, but I really shouldn't because it's not even going to be visible, so I'm gonna leave his butt alone and move on. Let's go ahead and add some tertiary details to these pants. A really easy way to do that is coming over with Damn Standard, and then there's a couple different alphas here I really like to default to. 56 is a pretty good job. I'm gonna go change my brush from dots to drag rectangle, and just kind of play with this. I'm changing the focal shift so I get a better result. Kind of a softer fall off. If you're not really sure what focal shift is and you want me to go over that concept, just let me know. Otherwise, I kind of breeze over some topics. Depending on the stream, we have different amounts of 3D printing people versus TTRPG versus 3D modelers, so I kind of change my like dialogue and narration style based on who we have in the live stream today. All right, kind of putting this like burlap, scratchy material throughout. Whenever you get close to the midline, it's really important you turn off symmetry, otherwise you end up with these really weird artifacts, and nobody wants that. This texture is pretty exaggerated. It's gonna grab paint pretty nicely. All right, we have a pair of pants. Now let's create a belt. I'm a big fan of using curve strap snap. I do have all these fancy brushes that I purchased to make belts, and then I end up not using any of them because I don't like them. I'm gonna go in here really simple with this curve snap strap brush. That's a mouthful. That is what it's called, curve strap snap. It's located somewhere at the top here. Alrighty. Now that we have this belt, we're gonna mirror and weld. I love a classic oversized belt, and especially since Hindsight mentioned this is really critical to Thor's character, you can have a lot of fun designing this. All right, have a simple shape blocked out here. Different bit of color. And then we'll have a lot of like tabards and like hanging cloth that are like fur trim, all kinds of cool stuff too. Let's go ahead and create one of those pieces right now. And go with a simple plain. And that really helped get that Viking look too. As of now, they're just gonna look like a bunch of rectangles. Use your imagination. Beautiful. Perfection. Clute says, I hear pug purring. Yes, that it would be my, you can't see because it's so dark in here, but that is my dog hanging out back there in his favorite spot. Yoni says, I somewhat started this course online, which pushed me to make a base mesh for an animate head. Very cool. Everyone's got to start somewhere. Hey, Novel's here. I think you're new. Welcome, welcome. Nice work. Yeah, thank you. Blaze says, is it wrong that I find the butt crack annoying? Honestly, so do I. I'm just like moving on because I know it's not going to be visible. Mini Blaze also says, I think we need to leave him shirtless. We can do a vest of sorts. We'll see. And then Mini Blaze is referencing something from our Discord. Oh, it's helpful. Thank you, Hindsight. Yes. Can work on that. Perfect. And if you guys are curious what we're talking about here, we have a Discord that kind of like accompanies the live streams here. I'll put a link in the chat right now if you guys want to join that too. The topology on this is a bit goofy. Let's go ahead and pull this over the side here. Kind of force the issue with the mirror and weld. No, other way. Here we go. That's nicer. Excellent. All right, onto this shirt. We're definitely gonna give him like a vest of sorts. Not that kind of vest. You know what? I might not. I'm looking at some of these designs where we can give him just a really large belt instead, and there's kind of like this bottom belt piece. Bear with me. I'm gonna kind of show it to you guys, and we'll see what we think here. It just seems like a shame to cover up all these muscles. Something kind of like this. And then he has these really cool like shoulder pauldrons I can design. I'm seeing a lot of designs and references online that have these like medallions. I wasn't able to find what the lore behind them was about though. But I saw them in a few different places, so I know they mean something. Oh, come on. There we go. If I work much faster, I know I'm going to upset ZBrush and it's going to crash on me, so I better be nice to it. These are going to make sense in a moment here. Or they won't, and then I'll get rid of them. We'll see. I have some shields I might put here as well. We're gonna kind of block out this cape now since I'm thinking about it. But first, a couple shoulder pauldrons. This is going pretty quick right now, so if you're watching and you're an aspiring 3D artist and you're like, what the heck is going on? Ask, ask, ask. I have no problem going back and kind of explaining the process. Mini Blaze says, that's what I'm talking about with masking. We do it on both sides. I want you to know how. Oh yeah, that's just symmetry. Like this, like how there's two masks right here. Yeah, if you have symmetry enabled, which is by clicking X on your keyboard, or transform right here, activate symmetry, you can even change the behavior of it, what axis you want to be behaving around, whether it's radial or not. Pretty cool. And then let's see, Midori is here. Hello, hello, welcome back. There we go. And I think instead of being like classic shoulder pauldrons, I think we're gonna make this animal fur, actually. We'll have two different kinds of animal fur. In just a moment here, we'll finish blocking out some of this, some of these clothing pieces, and I'll move on to the hair. I think that was Taylor saying they wished that they'd won the poll. I don't want to give him a super long cape per se, but I do think having a fur mantle of sorts would be really nice and cool. So I'm kind of roughing up the edges here. And then if you turn your min connected points to 1, it'll allow you to actually smooth single-sided surfaces like this. Otherwise, by default, your smooth brush will not do that. We can use this to kind of bulk out his silhouette even more too. And then we'll have kind of similar fabric of like this fur draping on these tabards we create later on too. All in due time. We definitely need to bulk up his muscles a bit more, so I'm gonna come in with my clay brush and add some more resolution here. And then before I pose, I'll come through and I'll make these abdominal muscles crooked actually, because they're very rarely perfectly symmetrical like this. There's some really nice references in our Discord that I'm going to pull up too, just to cross-check what I'm doing. Very cool. I'll probably need to make his hands a bit larger too. But we're making some good progress here. We're ripping right along, 45 minutes in. I like it. Hindsight says, on armor, the round bits are called rondelles. I think in art, they are like an aesthetic adaptation. Be right back. Sounds good. All right, let me come right over here. A lot of good references being shared in Discord. Thank you guys. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, I like this strongman more than a bodybuilder look. That's fantastic. The only thing more prodigious than his strength was his appetite. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Thank you guys for being here. This is always a blast. I really appreciate you guys kind of sharing your own artistic interpretation. It kind of all comes together to make a really, really cool model. So yeah, let's go for more of the strongman look instead of a bodybuilder. So we're gonna need to bring this belly out. Run over with an inflate brush here, just a touch. And then bulk up his pecs too. Because I also really like that interpretation, hindsight. I'm starting to get that impression here. I can go a bit farther. This is definitely a more is more. You just keep adding more volume to this model. I might even go with a mask brush. It's not usually what I do when building up muscle. Yeah, look how sad and small they are. There we go. That's better. Excellent. Now I am gonna make his hands a bit larger too. Not like that. There we go. Colby says, make his hips wider. Strongman are wide hips and shoulders. I agree. He has more of like a knight build almost right now. But I really want him to stand out from being just like, oh, he's just like another Viking, you know what I mean? He needs to have godlike proportions. Very cool. These are really helpful comments, guys. And yeah, never be shy with suggesting what you want the model to look like, because I've got my own strong artistic voice, so I'm only going to take it if it's something that is going to jive with what I have planned anyway. So I'm never going to be offended or have any issue with it. I'll just be like, oh, yeah. At the end of the day, it's art, so it's very subject to interpretation, and it's fun to hear different people's opinions. Keeps my job fresh. I will say most of the time that your guys' suggestions are spot on. I do end up using them. Just know that I don't feel pressured to. So as a result, you shouldn't feel shy about sharing them. There we go. I was looking a lot wider. That's better. I like it. Gonna give him a little less sharp of a jawline then too. He really needs hair, guys. It's fun that I'm working on his body still, but pretty soon here we're gonna transition. Coming along nicely. It's too bad I'm gonna cover up a lot of these muscles no matter what. But I can't just make him a naked model because I spent time on his body. It's not that kind of model. Colby says hands are great. I thought that too. Nice, nice. Same wavelength. Hindsight, it's true. Us big boys have some meat paws. There we go. All right, peasants, we're gonna start working on the hair. So, there's a lot of different ways we can do this, right? What I have in mind is like a medium length beard, obviously with a mustache flowing into that, also pretty long, lots of braids, and then probably close cropped on the sides of his head, kind of like a shaved look, and then almost like not a mullet, like a mohawk, right? But not sticking straight up, you'll see. That's what I have in mind, but as we work on it, I'm very, very open to you guys kind of sharing what you're thinking. So let me know. And we still have a lot more work to do on this body. We're at a good spot right now, but I'm looking at my references and I'm like, we still have a long way to go. But I can't have him bald for much longer. It's throwing off the aesthetic of the model. So let's go ahead and give him some hair. If you've ever been interested in how to sculpt hair, you're gonna see a quick block out right now. So it's a good time to pay attention. I like constructing, well, that's odd. I like constructing hair in a couple different pieces here. So the mustache will be separate from the beard, for example. It's also something that I use thickness right from the start. I usually only simulate thickness and I add it at the end. But in this case, a little different. These weird artifacts on the inside here, it's masking his teeth. So what you're seeing right here is the inside of his teeth. Don't worry about it. We're gonna just delete it and then everyone's happier. Isn't Thor blonde? Not green. All right, first off, we need to poly paint this. Stop being silly. There we go. And then once I have this mesh extracted, I go ahead and I Dynamesh it. The reason I'm using Dynamesh and not ZRemesher is because I'm not looking for clean topology just yet. We're gonna be moving this around quite a lot, and I find Dynamesh should do a slightly better job at generating fresh new topology. It's not as clean, but again, that's not what we're going for right now anyway. All right, we got part one of his beard, which is really not a beard yet, don't you worry. Let's do the same thing with this mustache. This one's gonna be poly painted on with a mask brush, essentially. All right, smaller, there we go. Gosh, it looks so ridiculous without having anything else there. Trust the process, don't you worry. Not looking like Thor quite yet, but soon. All right, let's go ahead and make his beard a little bit longer. Again, I'm really open to your guys' input and what you think looks good or what you want to see. That being said, we definitely need more shape here before we talk about that. So you notice how I did that mask, but I turned on back face mask. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to add material like this. It would have just like ripped through the mesh. Anytime your draw size is larger than the mesh you're working on, you're gonna want to enable back face mask to prevent any distortion. Facial hair is so cool, and there's so much you can do with it. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. All right, now it's time to work on top hair. You know, I might even give him like a goatee braid as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do that before I forget. That's a really easy one to forget about. So yeah, I just extracted a little like sphere pretty much right off of his chin. And then we'll go ahead and bring that out. Because I think that'd be fun to have like another braid right there. But I don't want to forget about that possibility. So I'm kind of like sketching in 3D. Nothing's permanent, nothing's getting too much attention. But I don't want to forget about it either. There we are. Adonis is back. Hey, welcome back. Hello, hello. What did I miss? I was rewatching tutorials for Blender. Very nice. Right now we are sculpting Thor. So that's what's going on right now. And like always, this will be a 3D printable model, so keeping some of that in mind as I block out this hair. Hindsight says, I was at a party once and someone asked me what my short beer was. I was confused and just showed them my can of soda. Turns out it just looked small in my hand. They thought it was a short can. That's really funny. Also, what a flex. That's great. All right. So we're going to start blocking in this kind of mohawk I refer to. I believe it was in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Sigurd had a hairstyle like this. Can't remember exactly because I did not finish that game. Usually I do, but goodness, that game just kept going and going. All right, I don't want to get too ridiculous here. And then I might give him longer hair on the sides too. Let's go ahead and load in this braid brush that I have so we can start blocking out more of these shapes with a little bit more detail, but not too much. It's such a fun character to work on. It's one of those that kind of comes to life faster than you expect. I'm gonna go ahead and give him some hair all the way around, just so that way we actually have a hairline I can reference back to. Something like that. Kind of looks like a little cap. I'm gonna refine it with a mask pen because we don't want to grab the top of his ear. Also, your hair does not grow on your neck like that. Not that kind of hair anyway. All right, extract. Because just having that straight bald skin is kind of throwing me off a little bit. All right, starting to come together. We have some hair. He needs longer hair. He will. Hindsight says, Mia, idea for a cape thing in Discord if interested. Not committed, just what I was thinking would be an interesting or unique idea. Absolutely, I'd love to look at that. If you guys feel like you're missing out and not in the Discord, you totally are missing out. Let me know, I can put an invite in the chat. Ooh, that's really cool, Hindsight. Oh, like a shawl type of thing. I don't want to cover too much of his chest, but I could do it for like the back side of it, but made out of like troll skin. That's a really creative, cool idea. Okay. I like it. Also look at those references Major Blaze put in. Yeah, that red tunic is coming up a lot. Yeah, I like the belt that you found as well, and I like the color scheme, so I'm gonna change this belt to that deep red. It's a little on the pinker side. There we go. Does anyone here know what color Thor's hair is? Is it supposed to be blonde? Hindsight says braids on one side, tattoos on the other. Or bald with tats on the other. Okay, okay. Voxel's here. Hey, welcome back. We're sculpting Thor today. actually going to duplicate his beard and throw it on the back of his head, funny enough. Just take this blob here so we can continue this hair shape. It's really easy to overcomplicate hair in ZBrush, honestly. In the beginning, just go with different blobs. Keep putting in different like cylinders, low dynamesh resolution, and start playing with shapes that way before you even begin to worry about detailing. I find a lot of my students get the most hung up on trying to detail individual strands of hair, and that's really not where you want to start anyway. I want to do a really good job on his hair because if I do, I can put it in my asset library to use on characters in the future too, which is like a win-win. I'm kind of playing with some strands in the front maybe. I kind of like the idea of him having a bit of a mop of hair. I'm a big fan of elaborate hairstyles. This would probably end up just being a braid, but as of now, everything is going to be a blob. Because that's just how this process works. Something about this beard shape is not speaking to me. I think it is much too long. That's a bit better. We got a long way to go. Adama says Thor is a redhead traditionally. No kidding. Thor is a ginger. Wow, you guys all know this. Huh. Okay, I love that. I love that. All right, we're a little too literal on the red here. Let's go. Kind of like a coppery brownish color. Oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever painted a redhead, guys. Unless it was like a fairy. I think I'm gonna go a bit of a darker tone on this red here. I'll add some different tones later on, but we got this kind of reddish brown just to start us off. All right, it's kind of coming together. He definitely needs something on his arms, some sort of bracers. We could do a reddish blonde. Oh, I like that idea. And then that introduces one of my favorite things to do, which is gradients. Let's go ahead and merge all these hair blobs down because we have like 10 pieces now. There we go. Look at this lovely hairstyle, guys. Much detail. And yeah, it's not gonna change at all. His hair is completely finished. Yes. All right, let me get these gradients in here. Well, I was going to until this piece is just missing. There's supposed to be an option here you can change your brush type, and it looks like ZBrush has decided, no, it says no. All right then. I can fix that by just restarting ZBrush, but I don't want to do that. I'll do that on my break. There we go. Well, it's been about just an hour on the dot, and I think we have a nice progress from our initial base mesh to here. We still have a long way to go though. Yeah, the boots remind me of Conan too. They need help. They need to be shorter and bulkier, and we have a lot of good work to get done here. Maybe some variation on the Skyrim Iron Gauntlets. I like that idea. Put some nice like runic inscriptions on them too. I'd like that. All right, these boots need help. They look too girly for this character. So we're gonna modify them a bit here. We're gonna make them larger, shorter, and then I'm gonna make a cuff to go around the top of them. Maybe even just a big fur piece on top. I'm gonna grab a ring here, tint it white. And then turning off symmetry just for right now, and I can mirror that later. We're gonna make this not such a pure white because it's just a little jarring. Make it a bit more tan. As a general rule, I avoid working with pure blacks and pure whites. It's just, they're really hard colors to work with. Praise Talos. Very nice. I haven't played Skyrim in a long time. There's been so many good games that have been coming out recently. I've just been very preoccupied. Right now I'm just kind of clicking and pulling out some shapes here. Might keep this, might not. We're just kind of toying with some stuff. This model is going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be so worth it. I mean, he's a god after all. It's got to be godly. There we are. Let's get these bracers painted. There we go. Very good. And lots of Celtic knotwork. I tend to bring them in as SVG assets. Okay. Very good to know. I have some pretty good ones queued up here. They're the same ones I kind of use to detail the hammer. I'll keep that in mind. And then I think I want to add some larger, like, thick belts here. Hey, non-sleepers here. Hey, welcome. I don't know if you've been here since you got your custom mug, so just a reminder, like, you now have your custom mug below here. If you guys are watching and want to support the channel, but you don't want 3D printable models, if you want that, go to Patreon. If you support the channel on YouTube, I add a little custom mug for you down here at the little tavern bar, so the more you know. All right, can you show the hand wraps and leg wraps? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm building and working on right now. There we go. I go with my curved strap snap brush. God, it's such a mouthful. And get some of these shapes blocked out. Kind of just using the shoes as a placeholder. It might be time to make some new shoes. I have some really nice belt buckles I can put in here too. Let's go with something simple. Yeah, but on the thicker side. Right now we're kind of in that stage of the model where it's kind of really exploring what the silhouette's gonna look like, how these shapes are gonna all play together. So a lot of it might just get tossed, but there's nothing better than just putting it on your model and seeing what you think for yourself. Otherwise, it's really easy to kind of get into this role of not getting anything done because you're so worried, like, oh, should I do this? Should I do this? I'm like, I don't know, just do it and then decide if you like it or not. At worst, you just have a nice asset you create that you can kind of save off for later for a different character. Kind of everyone wins. And then Michael mentioned more about this knot work. Like a classic circular Celtic knot on those discs might help. Yeah, I agree. Viking Crafts had some really cool knotwork animals. Very true. All right, what else do I want to do here? I think I'm going to want a similar kind of fur trim on top for this piece too. I want to have just like a lot of different textures to play with here. So here's a really cool thing you can do to add fur trim really quickly. If you go to stroke, curve modifiers, and curve functions, if you click frame mesh, it's now interactable with any curve brush. So my favorite curve brushes are just curve tube. So yeah, you just click and tap and bam, you got tubes that follow the geometry of this mesh instantaneously. Pretty nifty. Now I'm using my move brush to kind of pull out some rougher texture on here. And I'll detail for later if I decide this is something that I want to keep. As of now, really just exploring details and having a good time. Non-Sleeper says, love the mug, by the way. Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, you know, it means a lot. Hindsight says, be careful with knot work. There are some people that get way too worked up about differences in Celtic and Norse. Same with runes. Oh, very true. I mean, that's something that I've navigated as an artist before, and honestly, I find, like, people that are cool and, like, support me and, like, my livelihood are never the people that have an absolute meltdown over, like, runes, so I never pay them any mind. But I appreciate you mentioning that. And Hindsight says, maybe we should have a channel for references. I agree. I'm going to go ahead and create that. That's going to be under Patreon perks because you guys are my people. All right. Live stream references. That way, people are not just confused. Bam. All right, if you're hanging out in the stream right now and you have some things and images you want to share, go ahead and join our Discord. That's where all of the peasants assemble, and it's just a really good time. We also have a memes channel, so both are equally important. Blaze says, we can have all kinds of meltdowns if you want. I would suggest no. If we could limit it to one meltdown per stream, that would be great. Ooh, I like the boots that you put in there a lot, Hindsight. That is fantastic. Blaze, I was having so much fun letting folks in general guess what you're doing. Yeah, I know. All right, I gotta save those boots. Those are gonna take a lot of time to make, even though they look messy and like easy. They're not. They're awesome. I'm going to screenshot those and put those in my own reference board. Thank you, Hindsight. Here we are. Perfect. Thank you, Non-Sleeper, for the donation. I really appreciate that. That always triggers confetti. Never expected, always appreciated. All right. Let's get... There's so much to work on this model that I'm excited about, that I'm trying to, like, get some rules in my head. If you're watching the stream, you just joined Discord, whoever's username is womp womp, that's so funny. Womp womp. I do that, I say that all the time in like my day-to-day. That and meep mop. I'm not sure why, just like sound effects. Hindsight says, our aesthetic tastes usually seem to align. They do, they really do. You're like my unofficial art director. All right. Got live stream references up, and Monkey is already in there with a monkey Viking. I love it. I love it. Hindsight, you say no too much. Oh my god, calm down. Not Hindsight, Mini Blaze. Hindsight says yes. I can see everyone putting in ideas, and then Blaze is like, no, no, no. Blaze, you're about to get muted. Calm down. Or unless this is your meltdown. I said one meltdown per stream. You're totally permitted. You know, I have some shields that I might be able to shrink down onto these. I'm thinking about that. I like what Clute was mentioning about having some knot work on there. I think that'd be really, really cool. I also have so many cool weapons. I kind of want to give him more than just the hammer. Like, what do you guys think about having like daggers on his hip or something like that? It might be a little too distracting. that's later on. We need to get more done on this main piece first. And I also, instead of these tabards, I kind of would like maybe even like a half skirt. I don't even know what to call it. I'll just make it and then you guys will kind of see what I'm talking about. All right. It'll serve for a really nice, kind of like an asymmetrical detail here. I forgot to lower my resolution, so when I'm doing Z remesher with half turned on, if your resolution is really high, it just makes it a little slow when you Z remesh stuff. It's not a big deal. It just takes another couple seconds or so. And then Clute mentions, I mean, Vikings were pretty adept with multiple weapons. Okay. I like that. I like that. That's like, I'm gonna keep that in my head because I really just want to like deck him out with like, you know, like a fighter type, you know? And then Maybelline says, sorry, my cat's all over the place here making me crazy. It happens. It happens. Aloha, that is Jack Black. That is not a helpful reference. Thank you. I'm referring, that's in our Discord channel. Hammer daggers. Also chaotic. Also no. The idea of like using daggers with little hammers on them in combat is super funny to me. I can see that for some reason. All right. Working on this little half skirt. It's in one of my references and it looks really good. Just need to make it work for my model. Right now it just looks like a blob. Bear with me. Got double turned on, and then you kind of wrap it around the back as well. Here we go. And the style of this like tabard side wrapping thing, it's actually really similar and matchy-matchy with the boots that you suggested, Hindsight. Hindsight says in all caps, oh, that's it. Make the half skirt troll hide. Absolutely. That would be really cool. That's where you can incorporate that texture you suggested. Very cool. And then Maybelline says, I wonder what we could do with chainmail for a shirt. That'd be very, very cool. The best way to do that is using like array mesh. I think I have a tutorial on my website about that. Okay, that is helpful. Thank you. And then Clute says, gonna check out the D&D Thor real quick for you. That would be super helpful. Okay, I like it. Blake says, how Thor did this person want? You know, this requester was pretty chill and there was pretty much no description. They said, just how about Thor and Odin? That's pretty much it. That was the entire request. So we have some flexibility. That's why I knew it'd be a great one to do on stream, because y'all are always creative and have some cool ideas for me. Goodness, all right, we're an hour 20 right now. Going good. Aloha says, hear me out, guys. Potential second outfit. Thor Speedo. If I put much more work into this body as much as I want to, I might do that just out of spite, because I'm like, no one's going to see this. I'm going to like sculpt this god body, and we're going to see like a little bit of his abs, a little bit of his pecs. And I'm like, I put too much work for you guys not to see all of it. We might have a Thor Speedo alternate model. You know, I've been talking about doing male pinups, so we'll see. Speaking of, I started another pinup project. She is loosely inspired by Priscilla from Witcher 3. I posted that in the Legendary Request sub channel, because I don't know where to put my other work that isn't Patreon request, so I just put it there. He needs some design on the belt and maybe a belt buckle. Oh yeah, currently he's just got a tube going on, so I would say it's about time for that too. And I like the one that you put in Mini Blaze. It's under general still. Yeah, that one's cool. I think it's AI generated because it doesn't quite make sense, but it's a cool concept. Very cool. Trying to decide which belt buckle I like the most here. If I pick one that's on the wider side, I can even put some inscriptions on it, maybe. Undecided. Yeah, I agree, Mini Blaze. We have, oh my goodness, in the last like month, the Discord has grown so much. I think we have over 800 members now, and there's just so many new channels I've been making. I want to try to slow down a little bit here, but as long as they're being used, I'm happy about it. That way people can kind of pick and choose what they want to join the Discord for. Most of them are just happy to be there to talk about 3D printing and 3D modeling, all that good stuff. Is there a solid one? I don't think so. Monkey, thank you for that reference of that dagger. That looks awesome. Yeah, it's got all those runes inscribed down the blade too. Beautiful. Is there a solid one, not just the buckle? Not quite totally sure what you're asking. I don't know why I'm not liking any of these. I have like 50. This is like when you feel like you don't have any video games to play or anything to wear, but your closet's full and so is your game library. And I'm just like, I don't like any of these. It's like, yes, you do. You like at least one of these. I kind of like how square that one is. I don't know. Nothing's set in stone. We're still just figuring things out. For sure I want it off-centered, at least a little bit. And then later on I can actually make sure I like weave the belt buckle in, that kind of stuff. There we go. Aloha, I see your request and no. Adama said, Discords are like digital storefronts now. Are they? Can you sell anything on Discord? I don't. And I do this for a living, so I feel like I should know that, but I do not. We just talk about stuff in my Discord. I link my Patreon stuff there. I sell stuff there. No. To Aloha and Monkey. No. Appreciate the enthusiasm. I really do. If I do that, just know it's going to be a very expensive stream. My streams are free. That's the joke. All right, he's looking cooler, but I'm still just not feeling like super inspired about it yet. I'm not sure why. We're missing some cool, some godliness, if you will. Even his pants are boring. Like, the silhouette, it's not doing it for me. I think it'd be cooler if his pants were a bit baggier. I got some really cool references. I just need to start like combining them. I think it'd be interesting if I had that mirror and welded. Just more fabric, more layering. Aloha. Well, Mia, it looks like the peasants are standing up for me. Peasant behavior. Adama says, yeah, old mom and pop stores are tavern style. People come and talk this year. Okay. It's usually something that they can buy. Oh, okay. I'm just catching up on the chat right now. All right, very cool. Back to it. Mayblaze says, it's all the brown. No, that's not the issue. It's a silhouette. So when I turn it like this, he's just... Where's the interest? Where's the cool? It's pretty cool, but I want more. I think I'm going to drop him into Transpose Master. I don't normally do this. This is when I'm trying to push models to be more interesting. So I'm going to take all of this and then put it into T-pose sub T. And this is actually what I usually do when I manually pose models. He just needs more. Adama says, well, they share ideas. Autocorrect has its own ideas. Yeah, that's what I thought you were trying to say. And like, as I was reading it, I was tripping up on it because autocorrect made that difficult. Monkey says, give the peasants what they want, Mia. And the peasants want cake fights. No, the peasants will go entertain themselves in the Discord if they want that. Alrighty. This needs more. Okay, thinking. I'm gonna add some height to this model. And so to do that, we are going to keep symmetry on so I can put this, because I'm not posing, I'm just using the same techniques I pose with. We're gonna make him a lot taller, and there we go. So he's a little bit taller now. The next thing I'm going to do is broaden his body even more. Honestly, just adding that little bit of height helps. The next thing I'm going to do is the head proportions are going to be very sensitive and very important here. I like to make their heads a little, like their necks a little longer. It just makes them easier to paint and it gives a little bit more drama. So it's before, it's the after. I'll know when I see it. I'm looking for God proportions. I should have spent a little bit more time on the body, but I didn't. So now there's consequences of my own actions. All right. I think I'm just gonna widen his torso down. You have to be really careful with this. Proportions are powerful things, and same with the silhouette. So all this clicking right now you guys are seeing, I'm just masking pieces I'm gonna be altering. So if you're like, what in the world is going on right now? That's all that's going on. All right, I've masked all those pieces, and now I can kind of widen up this lower half of him. So that's the before, it's the after. Getting more of that strongman appearance. Maybe I'm gonna move this even farther down. There we go. He's just ending up a lot taller, which is great. And now I can exaggerate his body even a touch more and have him fill out this new silhouette proportion. I probably could have achieved this by just shrinking his head. It's pretty much what I've achieved here. Don't question the process, I'm figuring it out. Blaze is still coming in with the criticism. Mohawk isn't looking right. I'm gonna start reading you like that, Blaze. You are on a mood today. Mohawk be a blob, honey. Mohawk is not done. Mohawk's even a mohawk yet. It's thinking about being something cool. That's just details. Don't get lost in the details. Baby steps. Non-sleeper says, love when they're easier to paint. Me and Emma's paints have some issues with shaking. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want to make sure that these details are really, really clear cut, and then extending that neck just a little bit. Because again, these minis are so small, right? Got to make sure I'm helping out as much as I can. It also just makes for a cooler design too. Yeah, look at his itty bitty wrists, guys. He's a little dainty to be Thor, you know? We can fix that. All right. There we go. All right, I'm happy with this. I might make his feet a little bit larger too. Restrain yourselves from the jokes. I promise it's for real silhouette proportions. I'm gonna probably redesign these a bit too, and I think it'd be really cool if I changed the silhouette on these pants too. Kind of like a loose, like thick burlap even. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't want to give him parachute pants. All right, the silhouette is starting to actually look like something, kind of come to life. I'm really, really excited. All right, there we go. So once you have your changes and adjustments that you like, you click on T pose sub T and it takes all these little changes and puts them back. Oh, Non-Sleeper says stretch torso from the waist up a little. I think it's good. Oh no, you're right. Just like that, just a tiny bit. Good catch, Non-Sleeper. Blaze says, I'm proud of how restrained I've been. I'm not. I still have to get used to it being blocked out. Once you start creating your own stuff, you'll get more calm about that. Like, you've got to love the process, not just like the end product. If you're like criticizing your stuff or my stuff as it's not finished, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. You gotta like have fun with it and like be okay with it not looking finished. That's where like the magic happens and like really cool decision making and stuff. All right, let me make sure I'm not missing any references. Thank you guys for sharing all the resources in the Discord. It makes my job even easier. Got a little bit of clipping back here, but these pieces aren't even done, so I'm not too pressed about that. I do want even more belts, and there's gonna be a lot of leather and fur materials on this. It's gonna be pretty cool. I want to have that classic belt that kind of like weaves in on itself. You guys know what I'm talking about here. I know I have these set up. Belts, pants, and shoes. Here we go. I'm talking about this knot like that. There we go. And then I don't need the back section right now. I'm gonna just hide that so I only have this knot right here. There we go. Go ahead and poly paint that. Aloha, I saw what you put in Discord. It's dumb. How is there a GIF for that? There we go. Even just having this belt here is going to kind of start to bring in these secondary forms. I think I'm going to finally start moving away from the primary, so we just have like these tubes and stuff, and start bringing in some interesting detail. I just want to make sure I don't jump the gun on that. It's so important to really commit to your primary forms first, which is why I should have spent more time on the body. But I was able to just jump into Transpose Master and do some quick changes. So it ended up being fine, but don't rush going on to your next stage of forms. Monkey also searched around to find a cake meme to post. Looks like Aloha beat you to it. Beautiful. Oh, Blaze says sniff. No, you're fine. It's just like, girl, we're not done. Voxel mentions, yeah, this is still in the blockout phase. Yeah, this is where you get to like play and imagine it's like our design here went to the blockout phase. Like, it's just a baby. It's just a toddler. You must be nice to it. You must encourage it to grow. If you just tell it, like, your toddler how terrible, you know what I mean, like its scribbles looks, you know, your toddler's never gonna grow. This metaphor is falling apart. Be nice to your art and it will grow. That's all I'm trying to say. Oh, Hindsight has a sketch here that, of course, is awesome. Yeah, I like the fur a lot, that sketch right there. Like that middle tabard. So I just have like these perfect rectangles, which admittedly look kind of silly. So instead, let's delete that piece here. Let's give it more of a hide color. And then let's start roughing up the edges. All right, I've lowered the, whoop, it disappeared because it's not real. What I mean by that is it doesn't have any actual thickness. So if I spin it around, you'll see it turns into nothingness. If you turn it on double, it will show both sides, even if you only have single side polys. If you have no idea what any of that means, just don't worry about it. All right. Here we go. All right, this is like the very beginning of whatever this fur hide thing is gonna be. It's gonna be pretty cool. I need to add in a few more edge loops just so I can mess this around. Here we go. So I'm creating this based off of a sketch that Hindsight provided in our Discord. Not the first time I've done this. If you guys take the time to sketch out designs like this, I'm especially going to pay attention to them. Because it's cool, and more often than not, it leads to a better design. I ended up giving him kind of like this skinny tabard belt. We're going to still have that really large, cool one too. But I do want some side belts and cool stuff on here. I'm a sucker for this one that kind of like ties over itself. I think it's really, really neat. There we go. Excellent. Gotta be careful not to distort that belt buckle too much because it is metal, so it shouldn't squish around. There we go. Non-sleeper says, when you have some time in the future, could you make a video of making and managing asset libraries correctly? Yeah, of course, of course. Mini Blaze mentioned, yeah, I did show really quickly earlier, but since another person's asked, I should do a longer, better tutorial about that. I'm gonna do that in just a moment here. Oh, wow. So Hindsight explained what the animal hide is. That is so scary. I'm not going to do that. We'll just do a generic animal hide, but that is a really cool idea. That's a little too metal. I like it. That already looks better though. We have the same sort of hide on the back. You kind of notice like this is the process here. You just keep making small improvements and moving around, but you have to identify, is there a core flaw? And in my case there was. So it's kind of like when you're creating a cool art piece, it's like building a house, you know, like you start with your foundation. In this case, your foundation is primary shapes. So when I look at my model and I squint, you know what I mean? You're gonna see the primary shapes very easily. I'm not looking at like strands of hair like on a mohawk, or it just doesn't matter. Like it's the same like the icing on a cake doesn't make the cake good, you know what I mean? Like it's the actual substance of what you're eating. Also, most people scrape off the icing anyway, let's be real. Don't get lost in the tiny details. It's not what makes your model look good. It's the same way, it's like you could have really expensive, nice paint on a house that's falling apart, but it doesn't change the fact that your house is falling apart, right? Build a really solid foundation, really review your primary forms. Right now, I'm kind of transitioning from primary forms and secondary forms, which is why I'm starting to add stuff like the tearing on the edge of like this hide here, right? But what I'm not doing is I'm not coming in with like tertiary details, which is like tiny little scratches like I did on the pants. The pants is actually a really good thing to review. I established like the shape and the bagginess of the pants first before I added the wrinkles and then finally those small little scratches. I hope that makes sense because it's a really, really important concept. Hindsight, you fear the grim dark. No, I just don't want a skinned hand being on Thor. It's horrifying. Unless you can find something that makes that lore accurate, which I don't think so. I do love grimdark models, but this is not a grimdark Thor. But maybe it should be. A grimdark Thor could be very cool. Wink. All right. We're going to take a small break here to show non-sleeper how I create these asset libraries and how we manage this. All right, let's say I really liked this little fur tabard piece and I wanted it for later. It's a subtool first, right? So all you have to do is go to Tool, Export, and we'll call it furpiece.obj. OBJ, just what file type it is. And then, let me make sure you guys can actually see this. You go to your tool palette, you just open a new tool. In this case, here we go. I have this asset library here. My asset library is just a tool full of subtools. That's it. So now I have all these pieces here. I can select one of these pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it because whenever you import an OBJ, it overwrites the subtool you're selected on, which is really annoying. So I'm just gonna take this skirt and I duplicated it. And now go to Tool, Import, and we're gonna grab that piece that I just exported called Fur Piece. There it is, my downloads folder. Open, and there you go. It moved over here. That's really common. You're gonna wanna get in the habit of clicking on Unify, and that'll put it center in your scene, about the same size as everything else. Take your gizmo, move it over, and there you go. You now have a new piece in your asset library that you can reference. If you want to load in your asset library or save it, just go to Save As under your tool palette. Not File Save As, it's going to save an entire ZPR project, just the tool. I can't show it to you guys because my head's in the way. There, let me disappear my head. There we go. I should be gone now. Right here. Go ahead and Save As, and then that's how you have one of your pieces. So I hope that clarified that a little bit. That's a very, very good question. I want to make sure you guys know how to do that. Aloha says, Mia, I did a quick sketch over the model. I think it'll help a ton. Ooh, I can't tell if you're being silly or not. We're going to find out. I don't see it in live stream reference. Is it in general? I don't know where you put it because I don't see it yet. Oh, Clute has a really helpful collage of Thor awesomeness. These are a little bit more MCU inspired, but still very cool. Oh, the one at the bottom is not MCU inspired. That one's just awesome. Thank you, Clute. We do have a channel for that. I really appreciate this. You guys are awesome. Bam. Yes, Aloha is absolute. That's not helpful. I knew you were gonna do that. You're gonna be like, you know what? He just needs to be curvier. I had a feeling you were being facetious, and I was correct. Thank you, Aloha, for your little bit of chaos. Hey, Midori just joined the Discord. Hello, welcome, welcome. And now, you're not gonna be missing out. Live stream references where you can share your own stuff, or just general memes and nonsense. We do have a memes channel too. Aloha, you should have put your dumb thing under memes. Beautiful. Hindsight. Oh, good Lord, woman. Hindsight says, I'm not familiar with mythos that is more grim dark than Norse. And that's accounting for how metal Egyptian can be and how, yes, definitely aggressive the Greek gods could be. That is so true. Greek mythology, not for the faint of heart. Not PC. Hey, you're back.
Yep. And now I'm gone.
Goodbye. Alrighty. I'm really, really happy with how this is coming around. It's starting to look much more strongman, and we finally kind of got back to that silhouette that Hindsight and a few others actually suggested right from the beginning. Alright, we're about an hour 45 into the stream. Probably gonna go for another 30 minutes or so, and we'll call it good. I have changed the goal where if you guys want, you can extend it into a 3-hour stream because I've been ending around an hour 45-ish recently, but I'm open to make it a 3-hour stream if you guys want. Okay. This is looking pretty solid. This model is taking me longer than I expected because I'm just so hell-bent on making it better. I really want this to be a strong model. Non-sleeper, thank you for saying hello to Ricky. I'm sure he'd say hello back if he didn't immediately disappear. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is always just such a blast. I really, really enjoy hanging out with y'all and sharing your creative ideas, and even going a step further and providing your own references in my Discord is hugely helpful and hugely cool. If you like the stream, please leave a like on the video. It helps immensely. Same thing goes for if you subscribe to the channel, and then YouTube will yell at you when I live stream in the future. So it's a win-win. If you're lurking and you missed the Discord invite from earlier, just let me know and I can put that back in the chat. This is looking really cool. Aloha, creative ideas. Yes, some of you more helpful than others. Totally fine. As to be expected. All right, I think I want to give him something kind of around his neck, not quite a necklace, Mini Blaze, but similar on that thought. Kind of like a third piece to this cape. It needs some height to add some more drama. Because, I mean, he's a god, for God's sake. There must be drama. There must be a really cool silhouette to give that semblance of power. Monkey says we need more Ricky. We do. Ricky has there's a ton of errands that we're getting done in the background. Mini Blaze. Was that a dig at me? Honestly, mostly Aloha, but yeah. You know I like you if I can make fun of you. Mini Blaze. No, I did not suggest a necklace. Very true. Oh, the necklace one. Oh yeah, that was 100% a dig at you. Yes, yes. Hindsight says, Mia, stuff like this can be difficult for me because it's difficult to ride that line between unique versus blasphemous, interesting versus ridiculous, and accurate versus already done. That is really well said. I mean, my goodness, that could pretty much just be like written on my wall. It's like art 10 commandments right there. It is such a hard line to walk, and the reality is I would rather my stuff be criticized for being a little ridiculous than too boring, and that's why I keep trying to push it, because right now we're pretty traditional, you know? So I'm always trying to push things a bit farther. All right, this is gonna be a really cool, kind of fluffy fur crown piece, and it's gonna kind of transition into these metal discs that we have. Fantasy thick neck torque. I see Clute put even more references about Norse knot work in the chat, and that looks really cool. And that has like, I haven't seen that before, these Celtic knots where they look like dragons that are weaving. That's really cool. Yes, thank you, Clute. I really appreciate that. Blaze says, yeah, but we have fun here and you keep us in line. I try. Sometimes peasants be unruly, but yeah. I'm gonna have to start telling you guys what the live stream options are beforehand on my Discord so you can start doing my job for me to gather all these references. It is immensely helpful and very high quality. Hey, Mikey's is here. Welcome back. Very cool. And Clute mentions, yes, that tends to be the largest indicator of Norse versus Celtic knots. And that's probably referring to what I said earlier about whether these knots are interlacing dragons or not. And I'm assuming the interlacing dragons being more Norse. Very cool. I did not know that. Learned a lot in the stream today so far. Very cool. Bonnie's also sharing a lot of really helpful stuff in the Discord. Per usual. They're a pretty good bean. Monkey says, Mia, just remember, Mia is me, by the way. If you're new, my name is Mia. I make 3D printable models. If you want to buy them, link in the description. Mia, just remember, peasants are like orange cats. We all share one brain cell, so we're naturally inclined to be unruly from time to time. Isn't that the truth? My goodness, when I do polls on the live stream, you guys can't see the results until you vote, and somehow you guys manage to tie up the vote every time. It's pretty impressive, actually. All right, I need to reset my Spotify playlist. We are full on nonsense recommendations now. This is not even close to where I started. Fun fact, I'm listening to the Spirit Tea soundtrack. Spirit Tea is a really, really cute game. I highly recommend it. Alrighty. This is looking pretty cool. Just haven't really thinking right now. We have some good core elements here. I don't think I need to keep adding stuff on here. I think I need to start detailing and they'll start coming together. Ooh, Hindsight has even more references. I like that one with the wolves on the left. That one's really cool. That's like a different art style entirely. I really, really like that. I like the eyebrows a lot. Cool. Yeah, image dump and reference. Yeah, I just caught it. Very nice. Right from the get-go. I really like the eyebrows. That really stood out to me. Yeah, don't mind. The eyes are separate subtools because they are poly painted differently, so moving them around is a bit of a pain. I can make his ears a bit larger. Very cool. Hindsight says, or Clute says about Hindsight's references, I wish the second image that they put in there was larger. That huge girdle is awesome. Yeah, let me check that out. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of with this thing right here. Let's go ahead and lean into that shape a bit more. And then we're missing that belt that I had because I just didn't like the way the topology came out. We can go ahead and create that ourselves right now. Gonna mask just this center section here. Come on. It's really not wanting to do what I want it to do. That's okay. I will always win. I always have more tricks. There we go. Oh wow, that topology really came out funny, didn't it? There we go. So right now I'm reconstructing this belt that I had in here earlier, but I ended up getting rid of because it was just coming out a little silly. I find the single side topology to be a little easier to handle. Very good. Mini Blaze, do we think he needs an earring? I don't think so. Usually I'm all about adding more jewelry. I don't think Thor would have an earring. Especially not just one. Alright, I'm glad he has the hammer kind of we're doing a pretty good job with this body here and fur and drama. Kind of slowing down right now because I think I need to come back to this model later to make any large adjustments, but I'm really happy with what we have in 2 hours here. This has come a long, long way. Yeah, the quads do need some more beef. Thigh curves for the win. Yeah, from the side here. Yeah, I agree. There we go. It's kind of more of a fun angle. I'm sure Aloha's like, this is what I suggested, along with other things. There we go. Yeah, this model ended up being more challenging than I expected it. Probably because I really want to have that cool factor. Haven't quite got there, but we're getting better. Yeah, I knew Aloha would show up. Now we're talking. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do some work on this off stream as well. I'll share some updates. I think this is a point for, there's an opportunity for some large artistic growth for me. And sometimes that can't all happen on stream. Sometimes it can. Made some small improvements here for sure. But there are some techniques I really want to dig into off stream as well. Thank you guys for helping contribute to the silhouette and just the overall cool of the model. I mean, it's always super helpful and very appreciated. Right now I'm kind of improving the lighting here to kind of really show off like some of the cool stuff we've created here. Aloha says, y'all laughed at me, but each minute Mia adds more meat on his bones. I continue to look like a prophet I am in these streams. The prophet you are. No, I think you're more of like a peasant mascot, but I like that too. And Clute mentions, yeah, something about going away from a design for a day or two and coming back with fresh eyes. I agree, for sure. I think if I spend more time with this model, it might become something really special. And right now, it's cool, you know? And I really like it. Now, there's some stuff I'm really proud of here, but there's a little bit of a stylistic mumbling happening that I need to dig into and kind of commit to some forms. Overall, pretty darn cool though. All right, this is going to conclude the stream. This is kind of the wrap up here. If you like the stream, please leave a like. It does make a huge difference. And then subscribe if you want YouTube to yell at you whenever I stream again. The best place to go, though, honestly, is our Discord. I put an invite in the chat. There we go. That's where we have all of like our references that we're talking about and our memes, all that good stuff. If you're lurking, though, and you really are just here to see like 3D models and stuff to print, I do have a Patreon. You can join for free. It's right at the top here. If you want to make requests, that's an option too. There's all kinds of different benefits and goodness in here. But even just looking at the Patreon and joining for free, I would super appreciate it. This is why I can do this full time. And I've been doing it for 6 years now. So yeah, I put a link for that as well to check that out. Again, you can join the community for free and then you're still totally in. You can see what 3D printable models I have cooking and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I really love what I do and I'm excited to have these streams continue to grow, and I have a feeling this year will be my biggest year in terms of artistic growth as an artist, as I take your ideas and just kind of run with them. I'm really excited to see this model finished specifically, because I already know that this is art stronger than what I would have made last year, and that's a great feeling, you know? And as an artist, you know, you don't have to always be striving to improve constantly, but I feel like I'm due for another little increase, a little bump in skill again. I don't know, it just feels like that time. I'm excited about it. If you're angling to learn how to 3D model though, just keep in mind that I'm a professional. This is my livelihood. I always want to improve because it directly affects my livelihood, and I'm very competitive with myself too. But if you want to learn how to 3D model, you don't have to be good at your hobbies to enjoy them. Please remember that. I highly encourage you to go download a free version of ZBrush. It's called ZBrush Core Mini. It's totally free. Click around, have fun. Be bad. Be bad at your hobbies. It's super fun. Just do stuff. I highly, highly encourage that. Mini Blaze, you do realize you will have to print a big one of this too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this was a huge stream. We had almost 20 people the entire time. I mean, I always visualize you guys like you're in my room, and there could not be 20 people in here. So we have officially outfilled my room, which is kind of exciting. I said my room. Like, this is the studio. I don't sleep in here, just to be clear. Don Sleeper says, love your work as always. He hugs to you and Ricky. Yeah, thank you. Mini Blaze, great stream. Yeah, thanks for being here. Be sure to stay in the stream for the after hours version. Yes, I will be posting updates on this model in the Discord. I think you guys are gonna like it. I got some ideas to make this something special. We are, Mia. Yeah, 20 people is almost a new record. I think the peak I've ever had is like 26, but we sustained around 20 the whole time, which is wild. So again, aggressive invite. Please join the Discord. I don't sell things there. I just want to hang out with y'all, gather references, talk about good stuff, 3D modeling, 3D printing. It's fantastic. If you do want to give me money, go to Patreon, and then you get lots of stuff. But the Discord's free, just hang out and have a good time. Oh, cool. Midori shared stuff that they sculpted in ZBrush, those football figures. Sick. Hey, Foxy's here at the very, very end. Yeah, we're heading out, but I'll be back tomorrow, okay? I really care about you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye.